It's fine. So welcome to Empowered Elite's team call for September 2nd. This is the beginning of a new month, and it's time to get pumped up and excited, and I figured there was no better way to do so than to have Danielle as a guest speaker on our call tonight. I'm not really gonna intro too much. I kind of told you a little bit about her in the page, but I'm gonna let her share her story with us so that you can be inspired by her like I am. So Danielle, you can take it away.
Hi guys, can you hear me? Okay, my internet just told me it's like the connection is unstable. Can you hear me? Anybody?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You guys still there? You guys hear me? No? Okay, thank you. Sorry. No, my screen is freezing up, so I couldn't even see nods of heads or anything. Sorry. Hi everybody. Thank you so much for having me, Dana. I'm really excited to talk to you guys. I'm excited to share my story. It's a little crazy, so bear with me and I'll try to speak fast. And by trying to speak fast, I mean I speak fast anyway. So if I gloss over something or speak too quickly, just say something in the chat or just interrupt me. Okay, so I started, I'm gonna give a little bit more backstory than what Dana asked me to. And I had my first daughter in December of 2011, and I was insanely unhealthy. I was near 300 pounds when I had her, and I had no background whatsoever in any sort of health and fitness. Lily, just a second, honey, okay? Sorry. And I was literally starting from scratch. The house I grew up in, my parents are wonderful, loving, fantastic, but they were also insanely unhealthy. My dad was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. My mom was diagnosed with it 5 years later. I grew up on soda. I grew up on, red meat, potatoes, canned vegetables. I don't think I had a legit fresh vegetable until I was well into my teens, maybe my early 20s. Not even joking. It was forced if I did. It was bad. So starting from scratch, people will talk about the picture that it was the picture that did them in, and mine was me lying on the hospital bed about to have my daughter. And I call it my Jabba the Hutt picture because that's what I think I look like. And I'm not even being self-deprecating. That's just because those hospital gowns are the least flattering, so throw that into the mix. So that was my wake-up call. That was 1 second. Lillian, 1 second, please. Okay. Sorry. So I decided I had to do something. I didn't know what that something was, but it was going to happen because I couldn't be unhealthy for my daughter. She deserved better. I wanted to see her graduate, and the way it was going, it was not going to happen. So I decided to do something. I signed up with Weight Watchers because I didn't know what else to do, starting from scratch, remember. Signed up with Weight Watchers, did that for 9 months, lost about 40 pounds, which was great. But then I got stuck. I plateaued completely, had no idea where to turn. Stopped going to the gym. I had signed up for a personal trainer, which was insanely expensive. Just for the record, people that tell you they can't afford it and then go and sign up with a personal trainer are a bunch of liars because it's so expensive. So I had a personal trainer and everything, and I stopped going. I was paying all this crazy money and not going. And it was also working full time. So I would go to work from 7 till 4, 5, 6. I did not want to come home, or I did not want to skip coming home to go to the gym. I wanted to spend those 2 or 3 hours that my daughter was going to be awake with her. And then by the time she went to bed, I was exhausted. It wasn't happening. So I plateaued, struggled, fluctuated within this same 5-pound area for a while. Then I had been following a bunch of fitness pages, and I had heard of Shakeology, Beachbody, wasn't really sure what it was, kind of tried to look into it, but it was really I didn't get enough information from looking into it myself. So I posted something on my personal page saying, hey, does anybody know what this is? What the crap is this? So my matron of honor from my wedding connected me with Elizabeth Hartke, my now coach, and said, just talk to her. She knows everything. She knows what to do. So I talked to Liz, got to know her. It was great. She's wonderful. And then, but I was also the person who took 4 months to say yes. I waffled back and forth. I was what, honey? I go to the big garbage. So I waffled back and forth. I'd say yes, and then she'd send me a link, and I'd never sign up. I was that person. That was me. So because I kept thinking, oh, I could do it on my own. I know what I'm doing. I just have to do it, and I just didn't do it. So then I finally signed up. I got T25 the month it came out with Shakeology, signed up as a coach, because in the whole process, I also realized, okay, I was the person before my daughter. I swore up and down I would never want to be a stay-at-home mom. Like, you couldn't pay me to stay home with my kids. It's never going to happen. I had my daughter and everything changed. I hated my jobs all of a sudden, and I used to love working. Hated going to school, used to love that too. And like, I wanted to be home with her. In all of this, I found I really, really liked sharing my story. When I was doing Weight Watchers, I was sharing on Facebook a lot, just because I wanted it as an accountability for myself and to maybe reach out to those who maybe felt like I did when I started, which was I didn't know anything. But that you can do it. Even though you're starting from scratch, you could totally do it, which also speaks to my coaching story. So look at that. So I signed up as a coach, and I say I kind of putzed with it because my head wasn't in the game. I was sharing on Facebook. I was, sharing stock photos and trying to sell to people instead of continuing to share my story. Like, I couldn't find the mesh between the two, and I just didn't want to I didn't believe in it, is what it boils down to. I didn't believe this was really my out. I didn't believe this was really something real. So, but I continued to do T25 and Shakeology, hit my 50-pound down goal finally after months and months and months, which was awesome. And then like 2 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant with Valerie. So, and that just threw me into a whole other thing. It became my excuse instead of my reason, which is huge. So I actually I found it on Halloween of 2013. I submitted my cancellation form about 2 weeks later. I hadn't told anybody I was pregnant yet, and Liz reached out to me because, when someone cancels, you get that nice little email that says someone's canceling. So I suspect she got that email and then reached out to me and said, hey, what's going on? And I told her, I'm pregnant, so obviously I can't do this now. And she said, why not? And I was like, well, I'm pregnant, so obviously I can't do this. Like, are you not hearing me? And her response was, okay, you obviously don't believe in what you're doing yet, and that's fine. She's like, but I want you to know that I believe in you. I believe in your story. I think it's more powerful than you think it is. And when you decide that this is what you want to do, you'll do it. She's like, but until then, I support you either way. So I withdrew my cancellation. I was like, okay, fine, but I'm still not going to do it until I'm done being pregnant. Until I have my baby. I obviously have to have a transformation story to go along with this. Obviously, that you can't possibly coach and not have a 100-pound loss story. So in the meantime, I hung out with the team page, and by hung out, I mean I stalked the team page, did not like or comment on a single darn thing. And this was before you could tell that people had seen stuff. So I'm pretty sure she didn't even know I was lurking there. So I'm just checking everybody out, and as these new coaches come on and start rocking. I started at the same time. Those of you that know Colleen, Eddie, now is it Curtis? I don't even know how you pronounce her last name, but Colleen and Annalisa. We signed up within a week of each other. And I watched them all. They're all posting these awesome things, and I continue to watch Liz, and she's doing all these awesome things. I'm like, gosh, maybe this is legit. Maybe this is a thing. And so just kind of kept eating away at my brain. Well, and for any of you that are moms and that first trimester exhaustion, I was doing a lot of zombie life. I was not a non-functioning person. So it was really hard for me to wrap my head around doing this. I just wasn't in the right frame of mind. I didn't believe in it. I wasn't in the right state to even think about it. So stalking. It was January of 2014 when I decided to take the leap, because I had to stay home sick with my daughter. I went through a bunch of crap at work because of it. People were giving me a hard time because I missed work, even though I was working from home. It was just a really bad situation. And it was a big wake-up call for me. I'm like, this is my life now. I'm having a second one. It's not going to get easier. If I want the freedom to stay home with my children and to hug them when they're sick and to, kiss their boo-boos and do what I want to do for them, I can't work in corporate. It's just not It's not something that can happen. And so I said, enough is enough. If I want this, I have to make it happen. It's on me. Like, I have to do it, because having a single income household is not a possibility. So me leaving my job, I didn't think was ever a possibility. And I said, all these people are doing these awesome things. My coach doesn't work in corporate anymore. I'm like, so I'm going to make it happen. January 21st, I committed. I sent Liz a message. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm starting from scratch. Let's figure it out. So, and actually Colleen sent me on my 1-year anniversary this year, because I count my coaching anniversary as when I committed to doing this, because it doesn't matter when you sign up, it matters when you decide to do it. And she sent me a message, because I sent her a message after stalking her forever and said, what do I do? Like, what are you doing and what do I do? And she sent me a message. It's just so funny to think about, because all you can think about right now is where you're at today, and not where you'll be a year from now, or 2 years from now, or even 6 weeks from now. So it's just really funny to think back that far. But anyway, so I committed and I ran. Like, I had every excuse in the world to not do this. I was working full time. So I was gone 9 hours a day. I had a toddler, a 2-year-old, mind you, a toddler terrorist at home. I was buying a house, moving. Our debt just went through the roof because we bought a house. I was pregnant. Anybody who's been pregnant knows the joys of pregnancy. And then I had a newborn. Like, I had every excuse not to do this, and I did it anyway. And that's really what this business, it is. It's a decision. It's a choice. Like, you can choose not to do it, and no one's going to come find you. Like, that's fine. Like, if you want to submit your cancellation form to Dana, I'm sure she's going to be really sad to see that, but it is what it is. Like, we can't force you to do it, but we want it for you because we know it's a thing. Like, and that took me a long time. Even when I committed to it, I struggled so much with belief, because this is totally something you have to believe before you see it. Compound effect is a real life thing. Like, it is I didn't believe, I thought it was a bunch of, I read it and I thought, the penny thing got me. That part of that book totally got me. But personal development, it's a bunch of bogus BS. Like, there's self-help books, really? You're going to tell me, I'm a college graduate. I don't need self-help books. Yeah, BS. I need every self-help book I can find. So I started running January 21st, 2014. It took me 4 months to hit diamond. It took me another 8 months to advance to star diamond. And I will tell you that the reason it took me that long is because of me. It has nothing to do with my team. It has nothing to do with Liz, my upline. It has nothing to do with anyone else. It was me. I was my biggest support, but I was also my biggest downfall. I struggled with sharing the business opportunity. For some reason, even though this thing was transforming my life, I bit my tongue. Like, people would ask me what I did, and it's like almost like I was embarrassed to tell them that I'm a Beachbody coach. Are you kidding me? I should freaking scream from the rooftops, I am a Beachbody coach. This is amazing. Everyone should do it. And it wasn't until I started doing that, as crazy as that seems, it wasn't until I started doing that people started to see it too. Anyway, so my goal when I jumped on 21st January 2014, I said 1 year from now, I will not be working my full-time job. Okay, so I missed the date a little bit, but I think the date I gave my resignation was the 28th of January of this year. So I'm doing it. It happened. It's a real life thing. 1 year later, I am home with my kids. And just to give you a little insight, I wasn't working part-time. I wasn't making $10 an hour. I had a really good paying corporate job. Like, people would want this job. And it was kind of a cush job. If I'm being totally honest, like, I could do Beachbody here and there at my job because it was that kind of cush job. But it doesn't change the fact that I did not want to be there. That was not my passion. I would rather bust my ass in this job. Sorry, there's kids in the, sorry. I would rather bust my butt in this job than in any other job. because it's so much more rewarding. It's so much more fulfilling in every possible way. So I had a couple of things I want to share with you guys, because I know it's really easy to hear someone say, I did it, I quit my job, or I'm making 6 figures. And you're like, well, how? Like, what are you doing that does that? So I have a couple notes. I'm gonna stop rambling and actually use my notes. Okay, so point 1 is just to be like best friends, because that's seriously my motto, is to just freaking do it. Like, stop thinking about every excuse in your head. Stop thinking about why you can't do it. Stop planning it out and just do it. When my business changed this year, and it really was January, like, the only reason I could quit my job was because of what happened in January. Like, it was a total mind shift for me. Yes, it was a lot of hard work last year of like laying groundwork and tons of contacting and forming and challengers and crazy. And yes, lots of things happened last year. But really it was January. Like, January, I stopped planning. I was like, I've been thinking about running an internship for my coaches for months. I'm just gonna freaking do it. I literally posted in my team page, sign up with this thing, and I did it every single day. Like, I didn't have any plan. I had no outline. And this is so not like me as a person. Like, I am this planner. Like, it must be written out before I do it. And nothing was written out. I was literally going from scratch. And I did it. And that was the month that, and I now all of a sudden had all of these runners in my team, and people were passionate and they were feeling it. And it was because I was doing it. I was living what I wanted them to do. Like, I was being the example for them. And that's what you need to do. If you want a team, you just need to do it. You have one person on your team, you have a team. Congratulations. Like, that is how it starts. No one starts with 10 people on their team, or 20 people, or 100, or 1,000. We start with 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then maybe 2 again, and then maybe 1, but then 5. Like, it doesn't matter. Just do it. Start sharing your story. Share everything about your story. Don't just share, oh, look at my before and after from 225. Okay, well, what else? Like, anybody can go out and buy a program and do it and get results. Yeah, but what did you gain from that? Like, why do people give a crap? Like, what are you offering to people? We all started as beginners, every single one of us. But the only difference is that you have to start doing to become an expert. You just have to do it. You have to go and make mistakes and be okay with that. I look back, I look at Time Hop, and it's almost like I sometimes cringe because that out there on Facebook. Oh, okay, cool. Because I made those mistakes. I posted stupid things in the beginning. I wish I would have said things differently. But that's how this works. You get to learn from your mistakes. Congratulations. One of the best things I ever got, one of my favorite, my girl crush in this business, total fangirl. I know Dana hates when I say that, but I fangirl over Anita Myron. She's my girl. One of the best things she ever said was, a good coach is a good student. So if you want to figure something out, you have every resource every other coach does at their disposal. The fact that you have a great upline is a huge perk, but not everyone has that. But the things you need to learn, they're on, you can Google it, you can go to YouTube. That's one of my favorite resources. Your coach online office, FAQs, your team page. Very last resort, your upline, your success partner. Those are great resources too. If you want to figure something out and learn how to do it, just do it. Just learn. Go figure it out. Personal development. I know it sounds harsh, but it's so true that, like, if you would just be, you'd be amazed at what you can accomplish. I have a coaching sneak peek, not because I asked my upline for it, but because I just decided to do it. Like, okay, let's do this. I'll figure it out. Okay, so some coaches will discourage this, but I encourage this because I think it can give you a good vision of where you can go, is to follow some of the successful coaches out there. Follow coaches who are rocking the business, and just figure out what they're doing. Like, don't copy them, but just like take note and make it your own. Like, are they posting stock photos, or are they posting personal photos of themselves with their kids? There's a big difference. So that's another, just a little, I started following them just because it's really nice to have my newsfeed filled with these successful, awesome people, and it's very inspiring. Set clear, smart goals from day one. So your goals might not be the same as Dana's, or the same as mine, or the same as anybody else's, but set them for yourself and what you want to accomplish. And I know I struggled a lot with goal setting in the beginning, because I'm like, I don't know, like, how long should this take me? if you need help, that's where you need to do your one-on-one calls or talk to Dana, because she can guide you on reverse engineering from what you really want to what your goals should be. That's a lot of what my one-on-ones with my coaches are, talking about goal setting, because you need to have a really clear vision of where you're going to make progress toward getting there. I got in a really good habit in the beginning, and because of my upline, she forced me to do this, of setting monthly goals and then year-end goals, and then reassessing them every single week. I've taken to reassessing them daily just because it keeps me focused and on track. But it's pretty much the only way to stay the course through those really hard times. Like, if your goal is to quit your job, that's not going to happen tomorrow. So that's a long-term goal, but how can you kind of shorten that into something, okay, what do I do this month that is good progress toward the end goal? So like for me, Success Club was a non-negotiable from the get-go. Not Success Club 10, but Success Club. Like, it had to happen every month. And I kept true to that with the exception of my first month, because I wasn't goal setting in those first 10 days. But I've held to that because that's the example I set for my team, and I'm growing my business. Like, am I bringing in new people every month? That is your gauge, Success Club. That's the new people. So are you bringing new people, and are you like forming with new people? That is always on my goal. It's a non-negotiable. It's there. Maybe you have a goal of, I'm going to post 3 single day this month. Like, maybe that's where you're starting. Like, that should become habit later on. That should be, again, a non-negotiable, but maybe right now you can start with, that's my goal, is to do it every single day. Those are the kind of goals you have to set for yourself. Or I want to bring in 1 business builder this month. I want to bring in 2 business builders. I want to bring events to Emerald. Like, whatever it is, like, put it to paper, put it in your like spreadsheet if you're like me. Where do I want this month to end? Like, what do I want to happen? And then you can put little tasks with that. Like, what do I need to be doing? Like, for example, I have a coach on my team, not my personally sponsored, but one of my coaches, who is pushing for a really, really big goal at the end of the year. Really big, like bigger than I probably would set for myself even, like pretty big. And we had to have a very frank conversation about what that looks like. Like, let's say you are an Emerald right now. And if you want to end this year as a 2-star diamond, that is a fantastic goal. That is a goal I totally encourage. And it's totally attainable. But you have to have the right actions in place to achieve that. If you want to achieve that and you're only going to post 2 times a day and maybe form with 2 people a day, I think I'd set a different goal. Or if you really want that goal, then you have to up your game. You have to change your tasks. You have to reach out to, maybe instead of 2 people a day, it's probably going to be like more like 10 to 20, maybe even more than that, depending on the kind of response you're getting and what network you've built. But again, that's where talking with Dana will probably come in really handy, because she knows are and what you're trying to achieve and kind of what your game plan is. So, but have really, really clear goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time sensitive. Yes. All right. Didn't even look at my notes. Just saying. Okay. So my last point, and it's the biggest one, so please pay attention because this is huge, is consistency. Every single coach in this business will tell you they don't take, I mean, it's not that we don't take vacations, because we do. But every other day, we are dang consistent. Sorry. Of course, the most important point. Do you want to say hi? This is Lily, the one who inspired me to do it all. Okay, so consistency is everything. My girl, Anita Myron, had a really great YouTube video, you guys should probably go find it, about the end of the year. I think she did it last year, about how, you know, she's hitting Success Club like 60 or something. And people are like, oh, well, people just come to you, Anita. People just flock. And she's like, yeah, they do. It does come easy, but it's only because I've been working at this for 2 years. I have established amazing habits. I have not taken a day off. I have done it every single day. That is what this takes. And I'm not saying, you know, to only get 2 hours of sleep at night. I'm not saying to go insanely crazy, but you're going to have to sacrifice. When I was building my business, and even to this day, I'm functioning on 5 hours of sleep, maybe. And that's with the nursing baby, meaning it's probably a lot less than that. I don't like to look at my Fitbit like sleep tracker thing, because it just makes me really sad. But you're functioning on a lot less sleep. But I mean, think about that. Like, you function on less sleep for a few years, you can do whatever you darn well please after that. You can sleep for 10 hours if you want. Like, you're going to get to live your life the way you want. Like, I think that's worth sacrificing a little bit of sleep, a little bit of TV. I don't get to watch The Housewives as much. It makes me kind of sad, but it's worth it. It's incredible. I can't emphasize that enough. And consistency doesn't have to be a scary thing, if that makes sense. Like, posting 3 times a day. Like, I got into an actual, like, almost like controlling habit about it. Like, it was kind of scary, like, when I first started, because I was working. So I was at work from 7 to 4. I didn't know when I was going to have a break in the day aside from my lunch hour. And I'm like, I don't even know that I'd have that. So I had to schedule my posts religiously. Like, I had 3 posts scheduled every single day. One was in the morning around 9 o'clock. The second one was around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And the third one was between, I don't know, like 6 and 8. And I used Hootsuite like a mofo. Like, it was crazy. Hootsuite and I were like BFFs when I was working. Now it's Postcron. We've moved on. But I scheduled my posts because I knew it was important for me to be on Facebook. I knew it was important for me to be posting. So, but I also knew that my life didn't allow for me to be physically on Facebook throughout the day. So I made sure those posts were going to happen. So if that meant I spent an hour at night scheduling out posts for a few days, I did. And sure, they were a little less spontaneous than they might be today. Like, they're a little more, you know, here's this generic recipe I found, and here's this quote that doesn't really mean anything to me right this second. But I made it work because I had to. Like, I didn't have a choice. Like, this had to happen. Personal development. Make it work for your lifestyle, but make it consistent. I had Jim Rohn's network marketing, expanding your network market. I don't remember what it was, but it was for some diamond group. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up and I'll let you guys know, or I'll make sure Dana tells you guys. That's it. Yep, Dana knows. Okay, got that CD, put it in my car. It was in my car for like 8 months. I'm not even joking. So every time I got in my car, that played. So when I was going to work and coming home, oh, dang, I'm talking forever. I'm sorry.
I have it downloaded to my iTunes.
Well, until Lily started like, okay, Mom, can we listen to like princess music? Until she started like requesting stuff, I had that thing in. Like, if I was running errands on my lunch, no matter what, that thing was playing. So I was constantly getting a feed of personal development, just constant positivity, constant something. Some of my coaches who commute a lot for their jobs, they download podcasts and listen to those. So personal development doesn't have to be sitting down and reading for half an hour to an hour. It can be whatever you need to make it work. Listening to it in the shower. Like, if you're going to take a 10-minute shower, that's 10 minutes of personal development you can do. But be consistent. Make sure you're getting it in. Consistency. Personal development. Posting. Forming. Following up. Like, it sounds monotonous, and you're going to hear it from every single successful coach in this business, but there's a reason we all say it. It's because it's true. I think that's all I got. But end on that because that's so important. Consistency.
Hey guys, does it sound like I'm on repeat? And
I haven't even like been stalking your team page or anything like that, just so you know. Like, we didn't have like a powwow before this or anything.
No, we had
all me.
But I'm glad that you said everything you did, because it just kind of nails it in that what I'm saying all the time, and I feel like a parent repeating it is really absolutely important. And the real reason I asked Danielle to speak on this call, aside from how incredible she is because I wanted you to get a glimpse of the fact that everybody's journey is going to unfold in its own time. And if you came into coaching and you didn't really run from the get-go, or if you haven't really, had that aha moment of how this can impact your life if you stay consistent and you just run with it, I wanted you to hear from Danielle, because she wasn't that person that was like me that just came in and ran from day one. But the thing that we have in common is the fact that we both knew we had to believe in something that we could not yet see. And when I think about Danielle's story, it's almost essentially completely opposite of mine and how we started, because I believed very quickly. I wanted something so bad, and I was so desperate for change that I didn't really care. Like, I would figure it out along the way. And sometimes it takes you a little bit of time before you have that moment of clarity of what's really possible for you in your life and in this business, and why, like she's saying, and like I say, making these little sacrifices now is literally setting you up to have a life of freedom for the rest of your life. If you are willing to just nail down and hustle for the next, couple years. And I mean, I think it really takes you being able to fully believe in this opportunity, and that that no matter what, you're not going to give up on this, because like she said, and it made me laugh, that, nobody starts out with a team. I mean, I started out a lone wolf and I had nobody. And then I brought on one coach and I had brought on two coaches. And I'll tell you what, the first two coaches that I had, they quit. They're gone. And it was like Danielle said, you have one, you have two, you have three, and then you're back to one, or you go to five, and then you're to two. And not everybody is going to stick with you, and not everybody is going to get this. And your job is to focus and find the ones that do, and the ones that want to run with you, and the ones that want to believe with you. The ones that have, that grasp on that, it gives them chills like it does for me when I know what this has done for my life in the past 18 months, what I've seen it do in Danielle's life, what I've seen it do in the coaches that we started with since they began. And I know that, if you haven't had a lot of success yet, it's hard to really see that happening for yourself. And it just takes that fortitude of staying consistent and taking one little step forward every day. And like Danielle says, stop thinking about it and just doing it, because I myself get stuck when I have certain things that are big projects until after 2 days I'm sick of my own excuses and I say, just do it, damn it, just get it done. It was like the getting started right process that I made last week. It took me about 15 hours to do that. It was something I'd been needing to do for a while. And I mean, as you progress in your business, you're going to have different things that take your time, but the solid foundation that never changes is those consistent habits. And if you are doing those, it is inevitable that you are going to grow a solid business over time. Absolutely inevitable if you can just stay consistent. And to really be able to do so, you have to have that belief. It all starts with the belief. If you don't have the belief, you're not going to have anything pulling you to be consistent. You're not going to have anything that pulls you back when you have those shitty days and you'd rather do anything but get on your computer. When you really have that belief and you think, I know that showing up and doing these little things every single day is going to impact the rest of my life, you will absolutely be consistent. If you have that solid belief and that solid why, you won't have to work so hard to be consistent. Like Danielle said, it becomes like a natural habit. It becomes like you getting up and brushing your teeth in the morning, or you getting up and drinking a cup of coffee. It just becomes a part of what you do. And it is never, something that you have to think about anymore.
Real quick, Dina, can I share something real quick while you're talking about belief? Sorry, real quick, I know we're running out of time. My husband found something he had to share with me that's just wonderful, so it totally applies. Okay, if you were able to believe in Santa Claus for like 8 years, you can believe in yourself for like 5 seconds. Okay, like, I mean, think about that. Like, if you can believe so strongly in something that wasn't even real, like if you put any effort into believing in something that actually is real, think about the power of that. Like, I like that. Sorry.
I love that too, and I honestly feel like that the way that our lives are, sometimes we're conditioned to not believe in ourselves and we look for outside validation. And a part of the beauty of coaching is that when you're growing as a person and you're growing as yourself, that just naturally starts to happen, and then you're believing more in what you're doing.
Yep. And I just want to say too that anybody that has any questions, I know we're going to run out of time, but if you have specific questions about my journey or about anything, feel free to message me, friend me. I'm happy to answer anything. I know I was a real numbers focused person, and I know we don't have a lot of time to talk about that kind of stuff, but I talked a little bit about the compound effect earlier, and I am living proof of that. Like, I don't feel like I changed my efforts. Like, I was forming the same amount of effort. I was posting the same amount of challenge groups. Maybe I was putting a little more focus into my team, but I saw a huge shift in my volume this year, and that is where those of you that are a little like been in the business a little longer, you kind of know what I'm talking about, but that is where you will see that long-term residual income is from your volume. It's not, I am selling no more challenge packs. I am signing up probably more coaches, but I'm selling no more challenge packs than I was a year ago. Like it's not, that has not shifted in my business. It is my volume from my team. So, and that will happen very quickly and suddenly if you stay consistent. Sorry, go ahead, Dana.
Mommy.
That's about it. We have less than a minute, so I'm going to end it before we get cut off. But thank you, Danielle, for hopping on and sharing with us.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you. It was so fun. Oh, awesome. I'm so glad. Well, yeah, feel free to reach out anytime if you guys have questions or need anything. I'm happy to help. Say bye, Lily.
Bye.
Bye, Lily.
Bye, guys. Thanks for having me.
You say bye. Oh.